of that. I want to talk about what Peyton Manning had to say down at the Pro Bowl to our own Andrew Mason about Bo Nix.
Yeah, look, Bo played great. He and Sean being the play caller, like I said, good continuity, same system all year. Some of these rookie quarterbacks had two different play callers in their first year. So Bo benefited from a good system with Sean and good rapport with his receivers and played at a real high level.
So has good rapport, all the stuff that he's talking about there, played at a high level. And the continuity. I think that matters. He said something that Bo said. Now Peyton's talking about it. Peyton would know, obviously, better than somebody like me would. Just similar language. Obviously, some things are going to change. But year 2, same coach, same quarterback coach, same OC by default, even though that part doesn't really matter because we know what Sean does here. Bo's rookie season is literally the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Next year is where we really get into the meat of who Bo Nix will be.
Yeah, and Bo Nix getting even more comfortable in the offense is nothing but great news for the Denver Broncos because of the talent you add around him, but also the wrinkles. You know Sean Payton's playbook is unlimited, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that. Fans will know that. Bo's going to be excited to grow within that playbook. There are still concepts that you saw with Drew Brees a lot that you don't see with Bo Nix yet. And now with the better pieces around him, we're assuming from the offseason additions, running back, tight end, get 2 of each, please. You'll just assume that they're going to be even better as they grow, but as Bo grows and as he understands, and there will be a moment where Bo waves off Sean. You want to get to that moment as fast as possible. I'm talking about on the field, not yelling at him at the Raiders game after a play that didn't work. I'm talking about on the field, Sean. It's almost like the training wheels on a bicycle. In that moment where your kids don't have to have the training wheels anymore and you let them go and you're still a little nervous and they might be a little nervous and maybe it's a little wobbly and they might be a little wobbly, but they do it and they ride without the training wheels. Year 1, training wheels were on this offense. They kind of got off the offense a little bit later in the season, but for half of the year, you and I would say, why doesn't he trust Bo? Why are the training wheels still on? He kind of took them off, kind of put them back on in the playoffs. This next year, it's full Bo. It's full go with full Bo.
Full go with Bo. And it is. There were a lot of times with the training wheels off, and you were the one that brought it up early on. What are we doing here? He's now improving and excelling, and you're still trying to, have him play with his hands tied behind his back.
Right.
Do you ever get I don't know if it's a worry. This is like a rich people problem that we're talking about here, and we're certainly not there yet. Too much to throw at Bo? Like, will Sean get too ahead of himself? This offseason, I'm going to throw so much at you. The third offseason, I'm going to throw so much at you. Will he get too far in front of Bo Nix?
No, because the way that Bo is wired, you can't bury him enough. Throw the film at him. Throw the iPads at him. Throw all the film. Throw every play that Drew Brees ever took a snap with Sean Payton calling plays. Like, that's what Bo would absorb. So because of who he is, you could do that with another player. You could do that with, Caleb Williams. You could totally do that with Caleb Williams. You could do that with perhaps J.J. McCarthy. I don't think you could do that with Bo. And I sure as hell know you can't do that with Jaden. Not at all. You got 2 special quarterbacks. Penix might work his way into this mix as well. But you got 2 special quarterbacks immediately right off the bat that we can tell from day one. They're not Mac Jones. They're not Kenny Pickett. Any of those terrible takes out there. Mm-hmm. No, you've got 2 real ones in this draft class. And, congrats Washington and congrats Denver because you can't give these guys too much.
No, that's outstanding to hear because honestly that would be – and really it's this year. It's this offseason into sophomore season of he's so – jacked up about his new toy that he's going to rip its head off. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love this toy. Oh, man, I just ripped the toy's head off. That's what Sean would do. That's what I'm worried about with Sean.
What's the line from Tommy Boy? I'm like, JoJo, the idiot circus boy. I killed my pet. And I love it, and I massage it, and you're naughty. You're a naughty pet. You're a naughty Bo. Good thing for the Commanders and good thing for the Denver Broncos because both those young men work very, very hard, and it's so obvious in what they do. I've heard the Robert Griffin III comparison for Jaden, and it's just completely off.
That's disrespectful to Jaden Daniels.
Yes, because RG3 went to Mike Shanahan, smartest guy there is about football, right? He took him a list of plays. I believe the number was 9 plays. I'm not running these anymore. He did that after his first year. Came to Mike Shanahan, the football god, and said, I'm not running these anymore.
Who got him the Rookie of the Year award.
And covered him up.
Right.
Shanahan covered up his flaws. So let's have that conversation. Did Cliff Kingsbury cover up any of Jaden's flaws? Not really. They worked
honestly,
together.
it's probably the other way around.
Exactly. So let's have the conversation about Bo. Do you feel that Sean Payton at any moment covered up Bo Nix's flaws, or did Bo actually kind of cover for Sean, or was it a balance? Because we have the answer with Jaden. Yeah. Jaden was covering for his coach sometimes.
I do think it's more of a balance in Denver. I'm trying to think of an example where I could say Bo covered for Sean.
The play to Troy Franklin that didn't work.
Oh,
they
yeah.
yelled at Sean.
That's what led to the blow up.
The Bo saw the play. Bo had the setup. Sean lost his mind for thinking he was going somewhere else.
I will say now, look, we all loved it, and I'm speaking hypothetically of like, oh, now I know the result with a 93-yard touchdown to Marvin Mims. Bo's ability covered for Sean there, because if that play leads to a sack, a fumble, a safety, we're all going, why the hell would Sean call that play at that spot on the field? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Bo's arm covered for him in that instance.
Yeah, Bo's arm covered up in that. So we have seen instances where Bo has covered for Sean and the play calls in that moment. Mm-hmm. You want to see more of that going forward.
One more from PFM. Again, our own Andrew Mason at Mace Denver had this on his social media because he was down in, where the hell's the Pro Bowl?
Orlando.
Thank you. Orlando. It means so much to me. He was down there in Orlando and talked to Peyton. This is the stuff that sucks. This is kind of the could have been. Peyton could have coached Bo Nix.
I had a chance to be down here. I wish he could have come down here. I think it would have benefited him to be around pros like Joe Burrow. Anyway, he's great first year, and sky's the limit, I think, for him.
You know what? I said this last week, and I think I asked Phil during the crosstalk portion of our show of, hey, should he have pushed this surgery? And Phil was right away like, no, you can't push this. It's just a cleanup. Then I actually heard Stoke kind of saying the same thing I was saying. I'm like, he probably should have pushed that and got down there to spend some time with those guys. Do you have any thought on that of, would it have, I mean, I don't know this, and this would have obviously been a part of the conversation from the Broncos side. Was he going to do more damage, or could he have pushed this back, got to go spend 4 or 5 days with Peyton Manning and the stars of the NFL, and what would that have done for Bo Nix?
Well, I will say this. What do they play?
They play flag football? Yeah.
How would he get hurt playing flag football? Not to say that it couldn't happen, or, you know, my neck and my back could be like Giselle laying there. Give me $150,000. Yeah. And Peyton just said it right there, man. You could have came down and learned from him, could have learned from Joe Burrow, could have learned just being around those guys. You belong. And I think there's one thing in all of our lives when you're trying to do what you want to do and you figure out, like, wait a second, I can hang with Joe Burrow. Wait a second, I can hang with, Pat Mahomes. I can win these games. Yeah. I can hang with Josh Allen. Vance Joseph could not hang with Josh Allen, but when you're Bo Nix, I think there's something to that, So I do agree with you and Stoke that you could have pushed it back. It's a cleanup, man. Mm-hmm. It's not any sort of major surgery that's going to require months and months of rehab. It's a cleanup. You could have pushed it back. We know you're all serious, right? If you push this back, no one would say that he is unserious about football.
No.
Oh, that Bo, he's messing around down at the Pro Bowl instead of getting that cleanup surgery. 0% of people would have said that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the more that I think about that and hear, I mean, Peyton obviously looking forward to having a conversation with him, having him being around there. And I love what you said. There's something that goes to being accepted by your peers in all walks of life.
Yeah.
You said it of like, yeah, I belong. I've made it, and I don't feel out of place. Bo could have had that this year.
Yeah.
I think he should have pushed it.
The first time Mark Schlereth asked me about a player, like my opinion on a player, I was like, oh my God, Mark Schlereth just asked me about my opinion. Now I tell him about my opinion. He's like, yeah, shut up. Please shut up. So we've all had that in our careers, regardless of whatever you do, where the person you look up to all of a sudden is looking to you for advice or, some sort of guidance or help or opinions or whatever.
I had the first one. I told you George Karl knew my name when I asked a question, and then I'm like, you guys hear that? He knows who I am. And then same, George and his staff.
Yeah.
and I'm still really close with a couple of those guys. They were at Qdoba off like 6th and Grant downtown, and I just happened to be there as well getting food. And I see the guys, and again, I used to be the guy that was at shoot-arounds, practice, all this stuff, and I'd still like to go to that if I had time for that stuff. But just being around those guys, you start to know them. You start to talk to them a little bit more. And they asked me to sit with them to eat Qdoba. So it's like George and the staff, and then my dumbass sitting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're talking ball, and they involve me in the conversation. And I'm like, so wait a minute, you want to know how I defend that pick and roll? You want to know what I think about pick and rolls? Like, same thing. I'm like, yeah, I did it, guys. Call my dad after. I'm like, you're never going to guess who I just had a burrito bowl with.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, there are those moments, and I think that could have been Bo's. He'll get it, but he could have got it this last weekend.
Yeah, it's okay to be, maybe in his eyes, a little selfish.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a little selfish.
Mm-hmm.
This one's for you, Bo.
Yep. Ooh, that's a good one. After their first Super Bowl, and Sean says, this one's for me, then there's this one's for you, Bo.
Is it ever not going to be about Sean, though? You know what I mean?
They're all for him.
This one's for me again.
Yeah.
This one's for me times 3. Like, he could always say, God bless Bo Nix.
That's what, they got to bring Scheffler back.
God bless Bo Nix.
Like, Scheffler gets a spot on the stage now.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? He's earned that.
Mm-hmm.